All right, we are live on Tuesday night. Tuesday night live. It feels like a month since I've been on here. I think last week I had folks make fun of my hair and my beard, how long and mangy it was. So I got a little cleaned up, Michael.
That a boy.
You're
Looks
wearing
great, man.
your son's swag from his Little League baseball. Is it Little League?
Yeah, 10U. 10U
And
baseball.
you. So it's like that's not Little League though.
Yeah, not
Little
little
League is
league.
its own thing though. It's like what I
Yeah.
mean? Anyway, so you're here, and I'm glad. I didn't think Michael was going to be here. He's here. Always better when he's here. Um, and so we want to know where you're watching from tonight. We're going to talk turkey hunting. We're going to talk turkey harvest totals. Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee, Indiana, Alabama, Missouri, some other states that have updated totals, not final numbers, but we're going to talk about it. If you are not in Kentucky, where are you from? If you're in Kentucky, what part of the state are you from? Where are you hunting? And we already see some of you. Somebody said, "What's up, fellas?" That could be Brent. Brent usually puts his name at the end. He don't get on here as much anymore.
Yeah.
That could be a lot of people that are watching from the group. Jimmy Carroll says, "Hello, family. Hello, Jimmy. Glad you're here." Oh, Michael's got his speaker blast in there.
Yep.
Hurley
You just had to
Combs.
move it.
Hurley Combs' son is he attends Western Kentucky University. Killed a turkey and took a picture with it on the football field out there. Did you see that?
I did see that. That was cool.
Nice. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna see where old Joshua is, my brother, to see if he's gonna be in the comments tonight. Let's see. But hey, turkey season is coming to an end. Um, Gordy
Crazy.
Mullins, all the way from the great state of Ohio. Nathan out of the city that shall not be named, Louisville. Just kidding. Louisville. French Vegas, not sure exactly. Frenchburg, maybe. Sarah Jones, Southern Indiana. Thanks, Sarah. I'm glad you're here. Pendleton County. It's Barrett. Barrett was in the running for one of those spots. I knew it was Barrett or WO or Eddie. Eddie. I know it wasn't Eddie or Brent or Isaac Kent's in there sometimes.
Yeah.
That was me, Hurley Combs Jr. I don't know what Hurley. He sure got some cool pics making college great again. Hurley Combs Jr. Hurley, we can see you now. You're on the page. We can see your name, so you don't have to type it at the end. Let's see. James Evans is here. Hey, James, how are you? Nathan wants to make a public service announcement. Sure, Nathan. Anything for the people, brother. Oh, look at this. One of the best turkey seasons I have seen in a few years. Some people are saying that. Some people are saying it's not. So
Yeah.
that's why we're here, Mike, to talk about it. I don't know. Josh is here. About time. Always late.
Hey, Josh.
Late to the show. Where's your? Come on, Nathan. We want to hear this PSA. What is it? What do you think it's going to be, Mike? Is it going to be? What's it going to be about? Oh, please boycott. Drink now. Is there a comma like please boycott? Drink Bud Light. So only drink Bud Light. We're drinking Bud Light. I think Nathan got in a little hurry here. Let's see. Michael Powers. Mike, where are you watching from? Michael Powers says, had a buddy out today. He said birds were still hammering. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep.
Is that what you're hearing, Mike?
Yep. My Uncle Darren had a 5-minute hunt this morning.
5 minutes. That's
5 minutes. He walked down behind his barn, went across the little creek down there below the barn, turned the corner, heard something, looked up, a turkey was there, and he was hunting. He was going out to hunt, but just happened to walk up on a bird.
I got a question. I'm going to assume most of us here are hunters, right? PK says, what's up? Oh, Nathan did say drinking. So please stop drinking Bud Light. Nathan Russell said so. He says, we want folks to not drink Bud Light. Okay. Well, for me, I have Coke Zero and a little other drink that's not Bud Light. So there we go. I have a question. I'm assuming most of us here are hunters, whether it's casually or hardcore or whatnot. Are we happy with a 5-minute hunt? Is it too easy? Is it too quick? Is it okay? I took off work. I plan to hunt today. Is it just You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. Cause you're kind of like the anticipation is being out there and experiencing a bunch of stuff, but that's kind of, and deer hunting can happen that way too, but I mean, that was a freak thing. He turned the corner, the turkey was there and he shot it. So it's kind of like,
Gordy
what a
says
hunt.
it's way too soon.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Steve Rinella, and Steve Rinella, one of his sayings that I love is he says, embrace the suck. Hunting is a failure sport. You fail more than you succeed, unless you're setting in a blind. Well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that. I was setting in a blind is not wrong. I was going to go like way overboard. You know,
Sure.
you're just some people make it very easy, but sometimes it's not supposed. You think I don't know. I think you just embrace the suck, and I embrace the suck as in it's hard, and as in I'm not very good. So for me, you know, I just got to get used to that. PK says he'll take a 5-minute hunt. To be honest, still a memory, says Barrett.
It is indeed.
Barrett, it is. It's a fun one. But you don't want all your hunts to be that way, right? It kind of takes, let's say you killed 2 turkeys in 10 minutes. Are you happy with that, Mike? Or would you rather have the experiences you've had this year, which were good experiences too?
Yeah, you know, that's a good question. I mean, you're still getting success, so I mean, you're still going to be pretty jacked about it. But I guess like when you're some of the stuff that I saw this year, when you're sitting for a while and you're not necessarily running gunning, but you go to an area, you sit down and you hear, birds in the distance just gobbling, and then the sun comes up, and then so I guess you're not experiencing a lot of that if you're kind of popping up on a bird boom and you're done. All of a sudden you don't get to experience the rest of that and that elongated time in the woods, I guess. But fun.
So I think hunting can be very disappointing.
Certainly.
Yep. Jimmy, it is not. I mean, any day out there is not a failure. It's fun. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to be out there. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just asking. I would love to go out and kill turkey in 5 minutes and come home. Go eat Cracker Barrel Waffle House. I love that.
It's pretty crazy. Like it is when you have one of those hunts where you just go out and all of a sudden, boom, one pitches down in front of you and you're done by 7 o'clock. It's kind of insane. It's like, dang, this is crazy.
Yeah. You know what? You know who could use a 5-minute hunt is our guy PK. Look here. PK for his MCL.
Ooh.
It could have been an ACL. Let's look on the bright side. It could have been the worst one. So, man, he's handicapped at the moment. Stumbling around. His wife there's in that picture is taking care of him, no doubt. Hurricane Sandy, which is a phenomenal name on here, says they have hunted in blinds and they have spot and stalked and they love both, and I totally agree.
Yep.
If it gives you a rush, it's worth it. There you go. It's been a rough season. WO's here said afternoon, fellas. All right, so let's let Josh get his. I like hunts that are miserable and a harvesting animal makes the memory and story better. However, I hunted 2 minutes in the last deer season and shot my buck. I'll take a short hunt or a long one as long as it has the same outcome. I would rather embrace the suck. Yeah, the outcome is what's important. The harvest is what's important. But when you come back to camp and you've only been gone 5 minutes, you don't have a story to tell. You have a quick story to tell. So
true.
Gordy says, hey, Mike, I could have shot a Jake with a 3-inch beard and didn't shoot.
There you go. He's going to be next year's gobbler.
Gordy, you should have shot.
It is a legal bird.
Let's take a vote. Yes or no? Should Gordy have shot the Jake? Yes, if you think he should have, and you're on my side. No, if you think he shouldn't have, and you're on Gordy and Mike's side. I want to know. Put it in the comments. Yes or no? Should Gordy have shot the Jake? That's hard to say.
Yeah.
I promise I've only had a little bit of bourbon here. Deer hunting turkey sucks, but they haven't been wanting to play the game. It's kind of where I'm at. I told a guy today, actually the guy is has anybody in here heard of Greg Ritz?
Yeah.
So I was on a call with him today, and he's not a turkey hunting guy. And I said, I'm with you, Greg. I'd rather be fishing. So anyway, I thought he would be, but he didn't. Jeff Grigsby says more gobbling this year than the last few years. What do you think about that, Mike?
This is going to sound, and trust me, I know how this is going to sound. It's going to sound very like I don't want to sound, like, oh, well, this and that.
Just say it. It's your
The
show.
last 4 years in the area that I've been hunting have been insanely good. I can't really explain, why that is. I know, some people. I think we've talked about this before. We have pockets of turkeys, and where I hunt in Grant County, where my uncle's farm is, for whatever reason, there is an abundance of turkeys. Now in the past, we've had difficult seasons, but for whatever reason, the last like 3 or 4 years have been insane. There's been birds everywhere, gobbling a lot. I've been fortunate to get several on the farm the last couple years. So I've not experienced that, and I think right now we're just in that pocket of turkeys on and around our place, and we've just been very fortunate in that respect. It's been a lot. We've heard a ton of gobbling, a ton.
Sarah Jones, who is in southern Indiana, says she is overloaded.
That's good.
I saw, Sarah, as of today in Indiana, 11,615 turkeys that have been checked. That doesn't mean that's how many's been killed. I don't know their process up there like I do in Kentucky, but that's what Indiana does. So I'm glad you're hearing that. Hey, southern Indiana, cicada hatch 2 years ago.
Yeah, and in the northern Kentucky area, and
Kentucky cicada hatch 2 years ago.
Something I'll give Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife and Zach Danks, the biologist, they kind of predicted this. They predicted that we would probably see a boom, and just from prior seasons, I think in 2008 we saw a huge boom. In 2010, 2008 was a cicada hatch, and the 2010 season was excellent. I think they've kind of nailed that down. I give them a lot of credit for predicting.
I think there's so the cicada hatch 2 years ago was mostly northern Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I think the statewide cicada hatch is next year.
Yeah.
I think 2024. Yeah. Hey, I want to say something real quick. My buddy Jeremy Whitlow's on here. He said his ideal deer hunting every day, seeing deer every day, knocking a brute down on the last day. I would probably take it before the last day because that just messes with my stress levels. But we were talking about this show, and this is the first time he's been on here. I just want to show everybody something. If you look here on your phone, hold on. Uh-oh, I clicked something. Hold on. If you look here, there's a little bell right there. You see the bell, Mike?
Yep.
If you click that bell, it will give you a notification every time we go live. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, if you click that bell, boom, it'll pop up every time. If you don't click the bell, it still might pop up, but may not be every week. We would love for you to click it. We love just to give a little ding. That way you know. Cole Warden, New Yorker, Cole Warden, who honestly, Cole's on here a lot. He's on here on Thursdays. Knew him as a fisherman. He sent me a couple videos today or yesterday. I don't know, my days run together. One video was him sitting against a tree. There's a hunter just walking right through where he's hunting. Parked beside his truck, walked right through, disrupting the hunt. And he's like, hey, here's the adventure on public land. Next video, it's like a selfie video, and he's like talking about how hard public land is, and boom, shows me a turkey in that video. So
that's awesome.
Congratulations, Cole, on a New York turkey, putting it down on public land. I love it. And hey, he had to overcome a knucklehead hunter, right?
Yep.
And my words were, I'm so glad you didn't shoot that guy. Right? Thoughts on here's a good topic. Let's talk about this. Then we're going to talk about all these turkeys, these 31,000 turkeys that have been killed in Kentucky this year. Let's talk about this first. Thoughts on landowners now having to buy tags. Jonathan, this is a great question. I'm so glad you asked it. Let's give some clarification. Mike, do you know about this?
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah, let's get some clarification. So there's a new regulation in Kentucky that's going to be passed or has been passed that says if you own 5 acres or less, you now have to buy a sportsman's tag or a hunting license, right? A sportsman's license is what I was going to say, or a hunting license. Before, if you were a landowner, you could hunt your own land without having to buy a license. Now, I agree with two things. I agree that if you own land and you're hunting your own land, you should get to hunt that land without buying a license. I also agree if you only own 5 acres, the amount of folks that are only hunting that 5 acres or less are very, very, very small. So what's happening is you have people who own 5 acres or less, or they own 1 acre or 2 acres, and they're not buying a tag, but they're saying all the deer and turkey they kill are on that little 2-3 acre plot when it's just not true, and they're abusing the system.
Mhm.
So should landowners with a significant amount, 6 acres or more, have to buy licenses? No. But because so many people are abusing that system, I actually agree that 5 acres and under, I don't have a problem with it. Maybe they should knock it down to 3 acres and under. 5 acres is maybe borderline. You can hunt 5 acres easily, but that's not much. That's
Mhm.
not much land. My mom, I think between my mom's house and my uncle's house and my 2 uncles' houses, there might be 5 acres, and it's nothing. It's nothing. So I agree, landowners shouldn't have to buy licenses. I also agree, if you don't own a significant amount of land, you should. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think that's I think I agree right along with what you just said. It's that'll certainly affect a lot of people that hunt on their own private land. It's tough when you're kind of, for a long time, you've been used to not having to do it, and then you're going to have to turn around and do it. I like to think that it's going to benefit all. I don't. I know it's hard to kind of swallow that when you're not used to paying that, but I'm hoping that generates more funds for whatever is needed in the department, and it's obviously I do love I guess I would highly promote people to make sure you're checking in your animals, whether you're hunting on your private land or not, or whether you own that private land. I think that data is crucial. So I'm a huge proponent of using the data and putting, making sure you're checking your animals in, whether you own the property or not. And obviously you have to when you don't own it. But I really believe in that because they use that data. It's something that they plug in to use in the biology of the animal. And I think it's really important to have that info. But I agree with you. I think, I'm pretty much right on with what you said.
Yeah. I was seeing here, so Kyle Sams, who knows more than, I have forgotten, or he has forgotten more than I know. I said that backwards. He says, I'm not sure that it's because people abuse the system. If I remember right, landowners make up nearly 25% of the deer harvest. Kyle, I think I said that because I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. Someone had quoted and said that it was because of abuse of the system, but I could be wrong. Maybe someone told me that in conversation and I messed it up. Now here's the one group of people that I think kind of getting the shaft in this is if you have 5 acres and you have an acre pond that you fish, you shouldn't have to buy a fishing license, I don't think, for that. But this says you do, right?
Sounds like it. Yep.
So, maybe there should be a caveat in there like, hey, if you can show, it says fish or hunt. So, if you have a private pond on 5 acres or less, that should be an exemption to me every time, right? But I don't know. So maybe Kyle's right. Maybe it's not because of abuse of the system. Maybe it's just a revenue thing. I don't see the problem in it, though. I mean, I own 1 acre, so what can I say? If I own 5 acres, I hunted it, I probably wouldn't want to pay the license. So it's really just an individual thing. And if you don't want to, don't. Maybe you won't get caught. I don't know. I wouldn't advise it, but it will be illegal.
Yeah.
And this right here, what James says, covers a lot of folks. I'm 35, but I still buy them. It all helps, and I think it's just something we should do to help out. So I know for sure in the story I read, I think it was Rich Storm actually that said they have many landowners who go ahead and buy a license anyway, and they're very appreciative of that.
Yeah.
That money goes back to the resources.
Yep. So, absolutely. I think that's cool.
Okay. Let's get what OWO says. If someone wants to shoot a Jake, hey, I'm not against it. Some years that might be your only success.
True.
So, Gordy, you should have shot it. Let's see. Do they still have to report what they kill, Sarah? Yes. Whether you have a license, you're a landowner, you're a non-landowner, yes, you still have to report what you kill. Good question. If someone owns 10 acres or less, there should be a limit on deer harvest without a tag. Okay, 10 acres isn't much land.
Nope.
It's enough to hunt, but it's not that much.
Right.
I mean, I would like to have it. It's good for us to have a land size limit. I buy a license every year when I'm only hunting my own property. I do like having the land size limit, but again, I don't have more than 5 acres or 5 acres, so
Something I wanted to really quick, just backtrack a little bit. I believe it was Mark Lilly. I believe was in the comments. I didn't see his name, but I think
I didn't see him
who
either.
that was. He mentioned that he traps heavily in the area. Mark lives not too far from my uncle, and he said that he traps really heavily in that area, and believes that could be a reason why we see a pretty good increase in turkeys in that area. So, Mark, tip of the cap to you, sir. That's that we all appreciate the effort, and that's something that I'm continuing to learn as well. We were able to get rid of a few nest predators this past trapping season, but I'm only going to grow into that as I learn more about trapping myself. So let's team up, and we'll try to hit that area pretty hard as far as nest predators and
it's fun.
trappies.
And it's fun.
It is a ton of fun. I really enjoyed myself.
Just don't shoot a skunk in the head.
Lungs.
Don't shoot in the head. You'll get sprayed. Jonathan, who asked the question about the licenses, said he gets handicap tags. He's just wondering. Those are things, too, that I'm very thankful for, because I just talked to a hunter over the weekend. He pays $12 for a handicap tag. He has a disability. If he had to pay for a tag with his disability every year, he just wouldn't be able to do it. I know that's not much money, but it is to him. So I'm very glad that we have that. I don't know about I've had people ask me. I got something on this mic. I've had people ask me about prices for veterans. I'm not sure if we have those.
I'm not sure if we do or not.
So anyway, let's talk about turkey. So 31,000. I just looked and I already forgot. 31,755 turkeys were killed in Kentucky as of this morning that have been checked in. There's been more since, no doubt. That's what was checked in this morning. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean our turkey population is growing? Not necessarily. Does it mean we've had so many more hunters who's killed so many more turkeys and our turkeys are in trouble? Not necessarily. There are so many factors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like this year the weather has been pretty good, especially on the weekends. Wouldn't you say? Would you agree with that, Mike? I mean, we've had some rainy days, some windy days, but overall, it seems like the weather's been pretty good.
Yep.
I don't know if it feels like there are more hunters because we're seeing more harvest pictures, or if there really are more hunters.
Right.
I'm guessing the number of hunters have not fluctuated very much. What do you think?
I don't know, because, and this is, obviously this doesn't mean anything because you're in one small little area, and me specifically, we're in one small area of Grant County. So it's just one, and you're only in one place at that time. So, just within opening weekend, I was told that there was a lot more shooting in the area than normal.
But is it more hunters or more turkeys?
More, yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe people were just more into them this particular year, and there was just a lot more shooting because there was more birds, going to those hunters. But it's kind of hard to say and kind of hard to put your finger on it until some of those numbers come out later this summer. But I was told, by my uncle. So we were at camp. We were down at Daniel Boone National Forest, but I had my uncle tell me he heard a lot more shooting than he normally does during the opening weekend.
Okay. So there you go.
I don't know.
I've not seen, we were on public land a couple days. I didn't feel like there were a lot of hunters out. Mike kind of felt like there was, but it was kind of normal. So considering especially the large portions of lands that we were hunting.
Yeah. We also found a few spots that nobody hit either. So we know where to go.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I'll give you a kind of a rundown. A lot of people that complain about Kentucky and say, hey, Kentucky needs to do this, Kentucky needs to do that. Kentucky still has one of the most conservative regulations when it comes to turkey hunting in the Midwest and Southeast. We still have a 3-week, 4-weekend season, which I think is still shorter than Tennessee's season, right?
Yep.
We only allow 2 harvested turkeys. Tennessee just lowered theirs to 2. And so we still have a conservative bag limit, conservative season limit. Ohio has 10,351 turkeys killed That was as of April 30th, so it's been a couple of days. Tennessee, 26,416. That was as of today. Indiana, 11,615 as of today. Alabama, 16,395 as of today. Now, Mike, if you remember a couple years ago, you wrote a story about turkey harvest. You included Alabama in it. We had one moron who read the story and spent his day talking to Alabama DNR about how they collected turkey data just to prove us wrong. Like this dude he literally took a day of his life. Folks, life is precious, and this man took a day of his life to prove us wrong, and we literally changed one word in the story to fix it. But Alabama has, I think at the end of the season, they do surveys and things like that where they collect more data. So their data they currently have says 16,395. And then Missouri, who, they have a ton of turkeys, or if you ask our friend Allen, maybe they used to have a ton of turkeys, but they've harvested 38,570. So, Kentucky harvest numbers are great. What do you guys think about that? Do you think the harvest numbers are great because the turkey population is pretty solid here? Or because we have more hunters? Or because the cicada hatch? Or because why? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to say that it's one thing or the other. I do think, I don't know. We said at the beginning of the show, I do think it has something to do with that cicada hatch. I think I really does. The data from 2008, which was a cicada hatch, and then the harvest numbers, I think the last time, if you might have to correct me here, I think the last time we hit 30,000 plus might have been 2010. Am I wrong about that?
No, 2020 we had 31,720.
Okay. Well, see, there you go.
I got that data handy, boy.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, I knew you probably did. I wasn't sure.
I had it all written down from this morning.
If I'm remembering correctly, 2010 was like a benchmark season. I can't remember how many we killed, but it was. I think I remember that being a very significant season. If
2010, I think. Heck, I'll tell you in a second, but
yeah,
I think 2010 was the highest harvest total we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but here's the thing. If you look at Kentucky and you compare it to the surrounding states, we're an excellent opportunity to harvest a turkey. Now, we may never get back to where we were 2010. Harold Knight, who I say is the greatest turkey hunter to ever live in Kentucky, he told us, he said, look, fellas, the Fish and Wildlife are doing a great job. He said, your turkey numbers, they're going to start leveling out and they're going to be up and down. He said, they're never going to be the same. There's so many factors in it. And this guy knows more about turkeys than just about, I would put him up against any biologist, right? Just because of his observational and anecdotal data. But that was words out of his mouth. Am I right, Mike? Is that what he said? So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's see. In 2010, we harvested, and by we, I mean hunters, not me, 36,097. I don't think we'll reach there, but that was our best year. You're right.
Yeah, I was thinking that was a significant year, and I don't know that we'll get to reach that at this point, being where we're at. You never know. There's a week left.
Heck of a year, though.
Yeah. Or less than a week now at this point. But
Sarah says, does Kentucky have the same law as Indiana? No mushroom hunting before 1 p.m. on public. I've never heard of that law. Have you, Mike?
No, I've not heard of it.
I maybe wouldn't advise it. Or go somewhere like Daniel Boone National Forest where it's very spread out. But no, you can go, Sarah. You can go mushroom hunting.
Yep.
Get up there and find them, girl. I'm glad they have the senior license. I get my sportsman's tag for $12.50 now after 40 years of hunting. You deserve it, WO. You sure deserve it. Michael says, can Tennessee still open for another 3 weeks?
That's amazing. That's
they opened before us, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Mark says, we've been out of town the last few weekends to Nolan and Cumberland for bass tournaments. I don't go out with my boy. I just drove around and I've seen lots and lots of turkeys. I've seen a lot of turkeys. I've seen a lot of people talk about a lot of turkeys. I've seen a lot of people who see a lot of turkeys. It just seems like there's a lot of turkeys this year. It just does.
Yeah.
Jeremy says nobody knows. Lots of 2-year-old birds due to cicada hatch. There you go.
Yep.
Be interested to see the ratio of Tom Jake harvest at the end of the season. You can actually see that if you go to easternoutdoorsmedia.com. You can see where we are up to this point.
Yep.
Looks like we have harvested 28,517 adults and 2,986. So right at 10%. So pretty good. I think last year was like 17%.
It was closer to 18. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So we're at 10%. So Mike's happy about that.
Well, and I think that's we talk about that. We're seeing the 2-year-old birds. So I think we had the Jake harvest was up last year because there was a lot of Jakes. This year we have a lot more 2-year-olds. I think that kind of goes along with, since the Jake harvest was a little higher last year, even though it was higher, I think we have a lot of 2-year-old birds. That kind of falls right in line. Okay. So we might have less Jakes this year, but there were more Jakes last year, and now there's more 2-year-olds. Kind of seems like it fits there. That puzzle fits there. Just, and it's fluctuating, but I think that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I was going to read. I was on here. Turkey hunting is good in Kentucky because of our limits. We have more turkeys, and a lot of people are trapping hunting coyotes, other predators. Jimmy says he thinks, grocery prices going up. Maybe more people are hunting now. That could be true.
Could be.
Groceries are expensive. Go to Aldi. That's where I go. Actually, speaking of Aldi, first time I met Kyle Sams was in Aldi. He says, John, let's hit the archery range soon, Cove Springs. Sounds good, Kyle, because I always wait too late to start practicing.
Actually, I was going to bring this up to you. We don't have to talk about it on the show, but we should have like archery days where we just meet people. We'll just schedule days where we go, and we just have like a meet and greet and just shoot around.
Yeah,
throughout the summer.
That'd be fun. That. Frankfort, Cove Springs, a great archery course.
Yeah,
I'll be there. Holler at us. I've got buddies. Bradley's got buddies that says turkey population is very bad shape in Eastern Kentucky. That might be true, Bradley. I think I have buddies that say they're pretty good. I don't know. It really just comes down to where you're at.
Pockets.
Pockets. Yeah. So 2020, 2023, 30,000 turkeys are getting killed. How can you say population is hurting? I'm kind of there with you, Mark. So look.
It's pretty solid.
2018, 27,000. 2019, 29,000. 2020, 31,700. 2021, it goes back down, 29,000. Last year went down again, 26,000. Now we're going to be about maybe 33, 34,000. So you know what it is? It's just like every other data point of probably any animal or any statistic you want. So
that's interesting.
Hey, Chris, glad to have you, brother. Scott Butler is here, smiling, his big head. Jeremy says, go back to the 90s. Like the data, I don't know. I didn't hunt in the 90s. KDFWR burned a lot of public land in Eastern Kentucky. Hunted. They did burn a lot. A lot of elk. Reclamation, maybe, is that the word I'm looking for? A lot of burned land. Early Combs has some of that on his page. You can go check that out. Has anybody been seeing any Jakes this season? I have only seen one. Didn't we talk about that? A lot of Jakes being seen?
I will say the time now. I've just been seeing gobblers a lot. I've seen a lot of gobblers this year, and I've not seen any Jakes myself. But that doesn't mean
I saw that today on Facebook. People saying that they're seeing gobblers and they're seeing 3 or 4 Jakes at a time with them. Excuse me. I read so much throughout the day. I just I can't keep track of it all.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's I've not seen. I know. Yeah, WO. I know you've seen several, which is awesome. Just the farm that I hunt around.
Yeah, maybe it was WO. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, Chris, it just depends on who you talk to. Mark says if you average that out, we're talking about 10, 20 turkey difference per county each year, which ain't much. Mark, I'm with you. I've never complained about the turkey numbers in Kentucky, especially when you look at other states and they're struggling. Jeremy says, yes, harvest numbers in late 90s per number of tags sold. I don't have that information, Jeremy. But if you have it, feel free to share. We love it. Seen several Jakes. I'm guessing that's Barrett has seen several
That's
Jakes.
good. That's real good.
Sarah said we counted close to 35 turkeys in our field behind our house last week, the day before season started in Indiana. So Indiana's been in a week, killed 11,000 birds. Pretty good. Excuse me. Haven't seen any since it started, though. That they got smart. They wised up on you, Sarah. And I can't quit hiccuping here. April 15th to May 28th was Tennessee's turkey season. Okay.
Oh, okay. So they did
start a little after us this year. No, they started the same week as us. They used to start a week before, maybe. Is that right?
Maybe even 2 weeks before.
Maybe 2 weeks before with 4 birds.
Mm-hmm.
May 28th is a long time, though. They still have a month to hunt.
That's amazing.
Mark wants to know if Sarah is letting people hunt behind her house up there in Indiana. He's going to buy some Indiana tags. Jeremy says, add one more Indiana bird come Saturday. Go get them. Go get them, Jeremy.
Mark. I believe Jeremy's tagged out in Kentucky and Ohio, I believe.
I saw that. Yeah, I was getting ready to say Ohio. Seen a group of 8 Jakes on one place and a couple other places. Seen a group of 3 and another group of 3 in another area. Mike, I thought you saw Jakes up there on private land near Daniel Boone that day. Like the day before?
Oh, you know what? Yeah. And this was just an assumption. The gobbles that I was hearing, they sounded like Jakes. I didn't.
Yeah, the first turkey that you and I was hearing opening morning, pretty sure. Well, you said it might be domesticated. I'm pretty sure it was just a really puberty-ridden Jake.
It could have been.
Bub is late. Funny. He's working and hunting in Ohio after work. Bub, have you killed any turkeys in Ohio? If not, Jeremy might be able to help you. Sarah says, take 2 shots of whiskey and the hiccups will stop. Sarah, I already ended the cup, Sarah. It's already gone.
You didn't do it right.
I just got some heartburn. Maybe I just need to pour another one. I don't know. Probably not. Cole said New York, at least where I'm at, is overrun with Jakes. Seems like they're behind every tree. Next year should be good. What is the bag limit in New York, Cole? Do you get 1 turkey? You get 2? I think his season just started. So last weekend, maybe this past weekend. Yeah. I don't know. But you know what I'm excited about? Turkey hunting gets me excited. Yeah. May 13th. Who's going to Bardstown on May 13th? Who put in for the Kentucky elk draw? Now, Mike here has a superstition. He waits to the very last day to do it. He waits to the very last day to sign up. He thinks that there's something to it. His name's going to be drawn. It's never happened. I beat him this year. Not only did I wait to the last day, I think my tag, I bought my 2 chances at 11:28 on April 30th. So I not only waited to the last day, I waited to the last essentially 30 minutes, last half hour. So
nice.
Hey, if it works, it works.
I did mine Saturday night.
Mark Lilly says you got to do it early, and he's been drawn twice, so maybe we're screwed.
Yeah, we're screwed. He's got the algorithm figured out.
Mark Lilly is like that guy that he's like a card counter at the poker table, the blackjack table. He's got it figured out. He's been drawn twice. That's an anomaly. Chris says, that's not Chris. That is Chris, but not the right one. I should be tagged out tomorrow or in the next few days taking my 9-year-old nephew hunting. That's awesome, Chris.
Awesome.
We always love to take the kids hunting. I might be out at Kentucky Gun Company. We'll be there, Kentucky Gun Company. We'll have a white canopy set up. We're going to be live on Facebook. We're going to be talking to people. We see somebody we know. Hey, come over here, join us. They're going to get on live with us. Mark says his wife and his brother also have bulls. That's 3 family members. See, that's where people start saying it's rigged. Yeah, those Lilies, they know somebody. You know, Lily, he was kin to that commissioner up there. All right, man. Next year, first day, I'm putting in for it, Mike.
I'm ready, man.
Next day.
I'm ready. I'm excited about it.
It's a shame that it costs the same to hunt elk in Kentucky as it does Colorado. How much does it cost to hunt in Colorado? Because here, Jeremy, if you're a resident, I'm pretty sure you pay $10 for the chance, and then I think your tag's $100, right?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it's $100. Mark, how much is it? Is it $100 for your tag if you're a resident? Any my next door, and I think he meant and his next door neighbor. He's definitely okay. You know, I've always argued it's not rigged. Marcus, I don't know. Mark's making me second guess it. Colorado elk over the counter is around $7.50.
Whew.
Okay. I think, Kyle, how much is it? If you get drawn for a tag in Kentucky, you're a resident here, I think it's $100. So, Jeremy, I think it's 110 versus 750. 500 OTC. You ain't gonna kill no elk in public in Kentucky. It's all leased up. Not true, Jeremy. People do it every year. Not true. I'm not saying it's not hard, but people do DIY every year. Now, if you want to hire, if you want to hire a outfitter, you can, and you'll probably be successful. Mike Underwood said, "I heard lots of turkey gobbling around Springfield, Missouri. Haven't killed one this year. Where is our guy Allen? Am I saying that right?
Yeah. I thought he'd be coming in to kind of chat with us because he posted a lot of stuff about Missouri today. I think right after
Mark says, yeah, $100 sounds right. Not sure. You know why? Because he didn't have to pay for it. They just gave it to him. That's my new conspiracy. Now, I guess it's 100. I don't know. I didn't pay for it.
Yeah,
they just draw my name out. Yeah. My elk all DIY. There you go, Jeremy.
Nice.
Just get Rick Crossley to take you. Jacob Combs says $100.
I thought it was. I kind of thought it was wrong.
Yeah, I think it's $100 for resident. $750 for Colorado is not bad though.
Not too bad.
Here's what I would know: what's the success rate for an elk hunt in Colorado?
I should know this.
Less than 10%.
It is less than 10%. I think I read that somewhere.
Early Combs has like a 99% success rate. So there you go. Crosby 200. So including guided hunts and everything at 17%. You get a guided hunt in Kentucky with Lost Mountain Outfitters. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I'm not saying it's not. So let's see. Have a great weekend, everyone. See you all on Thursday. 5 a.m. comes early. It does. I will hopefully be asleep, Jimmy, but I appreciate your hard work for your family. Thursday night, Jimmy, we're going to be talking bass fishing again. I don't think Joshua has scheduled a guest, but 5 to 20%, Kyle says, for Colorado elk hunt. Kentucky still has one of the highest success rates in the country. So say what you want. I'm sure there's some criticism there that can be legit, but still pretty good chance. Mark Lilly says, my family and close friends have killed all DIY with help from friends, no guide. Just knock on doors and ask for help online. Some outfitters help me without charging. You can do it, but it's not easy. Right.
Yeah.
And Mark would know because he and his close friends have all killed elk. And I'm starting to really wonder how this is happening. Hey, Mark, I think we should improve our relationship, Mark. I think we should become better friends. That's what I think. That's what I'm really taking from this. Not that it's rigged for Mark, for the Lilies and their friends, just that I need to become a better friend of Mark. Makes sense.
I love it.
I think an elk mount runs. Now, elk mount, I don't know. Those are outrageous. But, if you're going to do it, go all in. Take out a second mortgage. Get it done. It's once in a lifetime, right?
I feel like I had to do that for Caleb's turkey.
Mark said he'll put a good word in for me. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it.
You're in.
Hey, what was I going to say, Mike? Mike, you know what? This is not to have anything to do with the outdoors, but we had a guest on Thursday night. If you were on the show Thursday Night Live, we had John Dalton. He has a huge YouTube following, over 120,000 followers on YouTube. His Creek Fishing Adventures. Just a fantastic guy. He's a Christian man. He coaches a little Christian high school basketball team of like 8 players. You know how those Christian schools are. And just does it just to serve. And he's awesome. He's in Tennessee. He's from Bowling Green. But he grew up, graduated high school, everything in Tennessee. Big Kentucky fan. Thanks time's up for Calipari. I asked him. I said, Mike's not on here. He said, look, I love Cal, but I just feel like it just feels like it's time to part ways. I don't know.
It does. It kind of feels a lot like, especially with the fan base, it's kind of like it's starting to feel like when Tubby was ending his run at Kentucky, people were just tired. They were tired of 2 and 3 star players that weren't Kentucky players.
Perry.
It's we don't have to name names to rag on them or anything. Yeah, it's tough.
Hurley says that Hurley has a bone to pick. We've talked about this a few times. September 9th is when the season opens for Elk. He says it's way too early for the opener. His opinion, he's predicting that he thinks it might be a tougher year for Elk. Just his thoughts. But hey, if there's anybody, that's a 10-point, isn't it? 10-point crossbows hat. I thought it was a Lost Mountain hat for a second. If there's anybody that I'm going to listen to an Elk, it's Hurley. And I'm very good friends with some Fish and Wildlife guys, but
I'm gonna get picked. I'm gonna get picked for archery, and it's gonna be the hardest hunt ever. That's what's gonna happen. 1 in 77,000 chance I'll get picked.
Hurley loves you so much. I think if you get picked, he will. Jeremy says, "Screw out turkeys." That's what I was gonna say, Jeremy. You're a turkey hunting guy anyway. You're a turkey hunting guy. Mike, are we going to get Hunter Dickinson?
Yeah, I kind of thought we'd know by today whether he would come here or not. KSR was kind of saying today that they had a couple people that would, college analysts and a couple people outside of college say that they thought him to Kentucky was a done deal. Yeah. Apparently, we don't have to get too far off track, but apparently he does a podcast with someone, and he was supposed to announce it on his podcast at some point. I don't know if that'll be released tomorrow and it'll come out tomorrow, but
we'll see.
It's Kansas or Kentucky, I think. So we'll see.
WO says, good luck. Still a few days left. Let's see. Today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, get out there. That's what I said in the Facebook post today. There's still plenty of time. Mark says he will add, if you can afford a guide, 100% do it. When I draw my bull in a couple years, Hurley's going to get me a 400 incher. Hey, Mark, if it's there, he'll get it. Let's see. Season goes into June. That will be some states have season into June. Chris said as far as cow goes, we will know next April. That's true. We will know. Permit to have this year is the first week rifle. Those permits should be golden September 30th. All right, Mark.
Awesome.
Put in a word, first week rifle. Put my name in there. Pull your strings. Jeremy says, hey, I have 2 elk under my belt. Archery. That's a big belt. Let's see. My season finally opens Saturday. Brad Atwood. Brad, where are you from, Brad?
Michigan.
That's right. I can't keep track of all of our folks here. Michigan opens Saturday. How's the turkey hunting in Michigan, Brad?
It's pretty good.
It's really good this last few days. This guy said. Maybe Barrett still.
I really want to. I think I'm just going to have to break down and do it, man. December. I'm going to put in for Florida,
dude.
I've got to do it.
Tagged out for a week. Why haven't you driven 20 minutes to Ohio?
I know. I need to.
How much is a turkey tag in Ohio?
I think it's 170, if I'm not mistaken, for out-of-state resident.
Oh, dude, you would have done it. You would have done it. You should have already killed Joe. Who thinks Mike should have? He lives 15 minutes from Cincinnati. He's basically in Ohio anyway. Who thinks? Don't you guys agree? Mike should have just got a tag, driven up there, killed one, came back, and did his thing. He maybe you had a 5-minute hunt.
I probably should have.
I got some land in Ohio if you want to hunt, Mike.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
Look at there. Do it, Mike. There's still plenty of time. If you draw, they really going to think this is rigged. Mark, if I ever draw a tag, they'll definitely think it's rigged. They already say I'm on Fish and Wildlife's payroll. They already say, this and that BS. So, yeah. But, hey, the guys who will say it's rigged are blocked from this page, and I don't care what they think anyway. They can go shove off. Let's see. Go to Ohio, Mike. Look at there.
I need to.
He could have come with us. There you go. Look at all these people. $166 for Indiana. That's not far.
That's not bad.
Either. No. Oh, I didn't mean to do that one. Mark has it rigged. Mark has it figured out.
Algorithms, man.
First, he said him and his wife, and I was like, man, that's awesome. Then it was him and his wife and his brother or uncle or somebody, and I was like, oh, that's great. Then it was him and his wife and his brother and his uncle and his neighbor and his close friends. I'm like, hold on. There's something to this. Bradley Vanderpool, I've enjoyed turkey season, but I'm ready for velvet always, Bradley. Always ready. Anybody got some good early growers on trail cam?
So far, no.
No. Let's see. Oh. This year, me and my wife both drew. Believe me, everyone thought it.
I bet. You just don't hear that happening very often. So when it does, naturally, everybody's going to think.
Mark, we saw your all's names pop up, and Mike said, Mark must know somebody. That's the first thing Mike said. Just joking. That's my comment. Tina Thornsberry. Oh, she said Mark has it rigged. I'm with you, Tina. I'm with you.
Hey, actually, something that I wanted to kind of chat about is specifically with turkeys. And this is kind of going with deer as well, because naturally a lot of us, just for trail cam purposes and things of that nature, we start feeding those deer throughout the summer. And now that we have the ban through July, I think a lot of that, specifically corn on the ground, I think that can come into play with the turkeys as well, with the anaphylaxins and things. What are everybody's thoughts on that? I was going to kind of see what the comments were on something like that. I think Jeremy would probably kind of get into that as well. He's heard a lot about that kind of stuff. And usually it's like if that corn's thrown on the ground in the summer, that those anaphylaxins grow, and then it can sicken the turkeys and also could even be affecting their reproductive systems. I'm just curious what people think about that.
Yeah, are people? So I got a question, Mike.
Yeah.
With the ban, and I looked this up the other day, and I ran out of time. With the baiting ban, what can you still put out minerals?
You can. You can put out salt, minerals.
Put out salt. Okay.
Just no feed or corn or anything.
That's what folks need to be doing, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Right now, we need to be putting out minerals. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got some.
Listen, there is no better minerals than the Antler Builder.
I was going to say, I've got some out, and the deer are just pawing the ground up big time.
I need to go get some. I need to go get some minerals. I think I have 1 bag left. I know I have 2 bags of feed left, which not going to be as fresh, but I'm telling you, it'll still work. And
Jeremy's got a good question here.
Is that ban real? I called the department. The lady said she hadn't heard any baiting ban. Oh, yes, 1,000% real.
It's real.
Do not put any corn or feed out until August 1st. Minerals and salt blocks, things like that, you can put out. Yes, it's 1,000% real.
Yep. That was actually shared with us to kind of share with folks on our page and things of that nature. So we definitely confirm that that's true.
Yeah. And hey, Mark says it's real, and he's in real good with those folks. So
he's
kind of feed? Yeah, he's in real good. So hey, it may not be real for Mark, but it's real for the rest of us.
Love it.
So hold on a second. He said, what kind of feed do we use? I'm trying to pull up Antler Builder here, and it keeps taking me to something different. Somebody's already got the Antler Builder website. That kind of stinks.
It's
here's what we use. I'm going to share this. This is actually Mike's photo. I can't find you guys.
Jeremy said so he should stop feeding turkeys now.
Yeah, Jeremy. I was wondering how you was killing them, Jeremy. Let's see here.
Oh, man.
Jeremy. Oh, here we go. Antler Builder. All right, so here's what we use. Antler Builder. Now, look, they're a brand new company. I think this is their 2nd year. I've come to kind of become friends with Adam. We're more acquaintances. We talk every now and then, and we try to help them with this. But we don't use anything that we don't think really works. And I'm telling you, and I don't know. Listen, I'm not Kyle Sams. I can't sit here and tell you all about deer and what they need and what's best for them. I'm just telling you this stuff has outperformed any other thing that I have ever used. And that's what I would get. I would get Antler Builder. Now, if you have a product that you use, a brand that you like, I was on a phone call with a guy from Big and J today for my other job. And I wanted to say, hey, you should buy out Antler Builder. But anyway, I've used everything at Walmart and Tractor Supply and these places, and this is the best. It is. It's. What do you think, Mike? What can you add to that? I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I can just say about it, and obviously, we like the product a lot, and it's one of those things where people might listen to us and be like, "Oh, you guys are just pushing product because you know those people." But I to be
I don't
serious,
even have private land to use it on. I
just
just know it works.
well, just to, I mean, in all seriousness, I'm a freak about like throwing stuff out, like minerals and stuff like that. I like to do it. I enjoy it. We put cameras on it and stuff like that throughout the summer. So
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I've used all kinds of stuff, the deer cane, the, molasses. I've used it all. And when I put the Antler Builder minerals in for the first time, and then I kind of just monitored what happened, the ground in that salt lick just got much choppier with tracks. It was beat up more. It was stomped on more. I mean, it just seemed like they were more active on it when I put the Antler Builder in, and the tracks became. I mean, you saw the ground in that picture. The other products didn't really do that. Like the results of the ground, just seeing the ground. I saw that more with Antler Builder than any other stuff. And I've used tons of stuff in that mineral site throughout the years. I don't know all the products, but it's been a ton.
Yeah. James says, Buff Daddy. James, do you work for them? Do you just do some work for them? You own it? I don't know. I don't think I've heard of Buff Daddy.
Mark,
hey, more than welcome to shout them out on here. We don't, and Antler Builder, they don't pay us a dime. It's not anything like that. We just really think it's amazing.
Well, they're good. I was just going to say the AB folks, they're really great. They're Kentucky based. They're wonderful people. I mean, I've just had an awesome time chatting with those guys, and they're so nice just to chat with, and that anytime we've met them and been around them, it's been a pleasant experience. So, and Mark, I'll see if I can get a list of stuff in there. Antler Builder is also, Hinton Mills is the distributor of Antler Builder, and they have been feeding animals for over 200 years, just with their history. I think that's right, isn't it? Isn't it over 200 years or
over 100 years?
Yeah, over 100 years. Yeah. Okay, so over 100 years, they've been, it's been feeding cattle and things of that nature. So they really pride themselves, with the nutrients and the minerals and things of that nature that go into, they're experts in that field. So it's just one of those things. But I'll list for you.
I've got bags in the garage I can send you ingredients.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
Roy says that there has been corn all over Texas all year in all the heat and moisture for longer than I've been alive, for 44 years. I've yet to hear of it hurting turkey populations in Texas. Not sure if aflatoxins need a certain atmosphere to form or not, but just about every ranch has corn year round. Quail eat it too, and we have one of the best quail populations. Royce, I've talked to folks about the aflatoxins. I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe certain different climate or weather conditions or what, but there are, I think, growing studies and research that says they're bad for turkeys. And maybe it's this part of the country, not yours. I have no idea. And maybe they're not at all. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, not a biologist.
I can't really speak to too much. I mean, it makes sense. I'll be honest, if you all have not been listening to it, we're talking turkeys and stuff. If you haven't checked out the Wild Turkey Science podcast, you really should. It's really good. I've enjoyed every episode of that, and I've learned a ton. So it's been great to listen to. So if you like turkeys and you just like to learn about them, hear about different topics and issues, the Wild Turkey Science podcast is terrific. I recommend it for sure.
And maybe it's something with Eastern turkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Maybe that's it.
It is not legal to feed now, Mark. But now the salt and minerals you can do, but just feed in general you can't, like corn or pellet feed or anything like that. You can't do that right now. And as far as I think you said, Mark, does it have grain in it? The minerals does not have grain in it. They do have a minerals. It's called their essentials. I think that's kind of the name of it.
Yeah.
Antler Builder Essentials, which is the mineral based, salt based powder, or essentially just mineral. That's what that is, and that's kind of what we're talking about now. Oh, the Buff Daddy. I'm not familiar with the Buff Daddy stuff myself.
Yeah.
James, you'll have to kind of comment on that. I'm not sure about the grains.
Yeah, but Kentucky. Just speaking for Kentucky, people across the country in the eastern part of the state are trying to figure out what's happening to eastern turkeys. It seems like they're the ones in the southeast and Midwest that are on the decline. Kentucky, the Fish and Wildlife Department, and Tennessee Tech University has a study that's going on right now. I think it goes through 2025, and they're banding turkeys. They're checking turkeys. They're finding out why they're dying. They're finding out why they're not dying, why they're being successful, what's bad, what's good. And hopefully by the end of 2025, when they've concluded all this work, we'll know more. And maybe they say, you know what, aflatoxins aren't bad, or maybe it's some kind of disease, or maybe it's, we need to pay more attention to predators, or I don't know, but there's so many factors, so many factors that go into this. The data hopefully will be able to point us in the right direction. And even though Kentucky is doing well, and I think Kentucky's a great opportunity to kill a turkey, you should stay on top of things when it's going well. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because you don't want to wait till it's too late. So I'm glad Kentucky's doing this, and I know they'll continue to do this. Zach Danks does a great job, and people like Dr. Mike Chamberlain. I think did you mention him, Mike?
We've talked about him many times. I haven't tonight.
Turkeys for tomorrow, NWTF. They're all working, all trying to figure it out. So
yeah,
Joel says it's a climate thing. Big reason why it's illegal altogether to use in New York. A lot of folks that I have talked to that are much smarter than me when it comes to turkeys and wildlife have said this is a great move and that Kentucky should have done this a long time ago. And some people said they should ban baiting altogether, but that would probably be a bad move for them as far as
hunter satisfaction,
feedback and hunter satisfaction. Right.
Yeah. So. I wonder, we need to, as we get closer and near to deer season, we need to have Kyle back on. I'd love to talk about this with Kyle.
Come on, Kyle.
He's an expert in that type of stuff, and I'd love to hear his thoughts on that. Just on this forum. A couple of things, because I get excited about this. I see some messages. I get pretty pumped about the whole podcast thing and some of the stuff that I've heard. Jeremy said officials, biologists say it's bad because it congregates turkeys in a small area and makes it easier for predators to catch them. I saw Marty Spears also said Wild Turkey Science podcast is great. They did a good thing with another podcast with Primos. I listened to that episode and it was phenomenal about baiting turkeys. Some of the things, just to tie in Jeremy and Marty's comments there, I listened to those, and it was interesting to hear that they have done studies. Now, these are with fake turkey. They're fake turkey nests, and there's not a hen there to defend the nest, so you kind of have to take that for what that's worth. But what they did was in many test cases, they supplied a feeder, and they put they use different parameters around the feeder, like 100 yards and in or outside of 100 yards. And all of the fake nests that they put within 100 yards of that feeder that was, being supplied with food, they were all it was like 80% of them got nest rated. 80% of the nests got nest rated within that 100-yard radius of the feeder. And then when you stepped outside the radius of the feeder, the nest rating was down to like 30%. Oh wow! So there was a lot as far as a study. There are studies that say with a feeder on your property, specifically during a nesting time or a nesting period, which is talking about the bans and stuff, it might be a good thing that we don't have feeders on right now because these turkeys are nesting, and the studies showed that 80% of the nest within 100 yards, and naturally a turkey might nest closer to that feed because it's feed and she's closer to it. So you're naturally putting that turkey nest 100 yards within the feed, which is 80% increase in nest rating there. And then outside of that, it was it dropped down to 30% nest rating. So there's something to that. There really is. I was super fascinated by that information that those biologists shared in that about that study.
Yeah, that's great. That's
what we need to know.
Insight,
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, it is well after 10, 6 minutes after 10. So we're going to go ahead and wrap her up. Virginia University also did a study that said that possums eat 5,000 ticks a week. Just saying. So anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that one. I've seen Jeremy talk about that before. That has definitely been debunked. I think I don't know that possums actually eat ticks in the sense of helping them. But
who knows?
We'll see.
I just know one thing: if you just use Sawyer's permethrin, you don't have to worry about them. You don't have to worry about them.
For sure, that stuff works.
Yeah, that's what I do. All right, guys, we're gonna hop off here. We do appreciate you. We had a pretty good audience on tonight. A lot of good conversations. We've talked about turkeys and had people from different states. We learned that Mark Lilly is plugged in over there at KDFWR, and so we'll see. But anyway, we do appreciate everybody. May 13th, you need to buy a ticket. Go to Bardstown, Kentucky Gun Company. If you have a chance for a Kentucky elk tag, show up. What would be better than being drawn is being there when you've been drawn. You're going to be a celebrity. You're going to be like a local celebrity. Somebody's going to be drawn there. Hopefully it's me. If I'm choosing one person to be drawn there, it's me. I'm going to be there. We're going to be there. We're going to be live. You can hop on the screen with us, sit and talk about whatever you want to talk about, and we would enjoy it. So anyway, check that out. Don't forget about it. Tickets are still on sale. Go to Kentucky Gun Company. Go to our page. Go to their page. Whatever, you'll find it. So anyway, Mike, thank you so much, man. Glad you were able to make it.
Absolutely.
Everybody that commented, everybody that watched, we appreciate you. We have our bass fishing live show on Thursday, and then we'll be back right here next Tuesday, and we'll talk about the final turkey numbers because we wraps up on Sunday. So
that's crazy.
If you're hunting, be safe. Confirm your shot and what's behind it. Don't shoot anybody on public land, and we'll all get along better. Have a good week. Have a good night.